Hey, what's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Shook, host of the Undrafted All-Star Sports Show. Man, listen, if you want some real down south, Louisiana-style Cajun food, you need to go check out DB's Cajun Kitchen. Yo, they got lobster and grits, seafood boils, signature fries, signature po' boys, signature egg rolls, and desserts. Oh, and my favorite, them gumbo tacos. Yo, they open from 11 to 8, Wednesday to Monday, 7 to 5:30 on Sunday. Located in North Las Vegas at 4343 North Rancho Drive. They even have to-go orders and catering. Hit them up, 725-780-1850, or go to the website, dbcajunkitchen.com. So, yo, don't just tell your friends about me. Tell them about DB's Cajun Kitchen.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man, hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville, he'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in, we here to help. Now tune in, we here to help.
All right, good afternoon, Las Vegas. Greg Deville back in the studio once again. So excited to be back with you. Let's talk about some of the great things that are in store this afternoon. I have my special guest, my friend, Mr. Joshua Igiliki Jr. He's going to be joining us this morning from Your Legacy Matters Financial. Hey, look, Josh can get it done. He has been a good lender of mine for so many years. We've had fun working with him. He gets it done. He closes the deal, gets the keys, and I'm telling you, he knocks it out the park. So wanted to have him as a special guest. Josh, are you there? Good morning, man. How you doing? I'm glad to have you with me this morning. How you feel?
Feeling great. Good morning. Glad to be here. How's it going?
Man, good. You know, I'm talking about Josh as a lender, but Josh is also an attorney. You know, Josh is doing well with, I'm telling you, Your Legacy Matters, Josh. That's a reason why you went with Your Legacy Matters, correct?
Absolutely. So I am an estate planning attorney. So I assist people in their legacies, right? And when it's all said and done and it's time for you to go, what's left? And you want to make sure whatever you have that's left goes where you want it to go. And it's very important to believe that each person has a legacy to leave and that each person's legacy truly does matter. So oftentimes the largest asset that people have is their home, right? Is the real estate. So because we're able to assist people on the financial side and on the lending side of things in acquiring the home, we want to make sure that you do all that work to acquire this home. It's so important to make sure that home is transferred properly into a trust so that home can now avoid the probate process and go directly to whomever in your family or whomever your heirs are that you want it to go to without having to pay those additional fees that would be incurred if you fail to plan.
Now, there are irrevocable and revocable trusts. So if I'm understanding it, I have a revocable trust, which means I can change my mind. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely. So the revocable trust is one that allows for you to make changes while you're still alive. Important to note, once you pass away, your trust becomes irrevocable, right? Yeah. So it's revocable to you and allows you to make changes.
Yeah,
But whatever decisions you made, now those decisions can't be changed once you're gone.
Wonderful. Now, I know we came on to talk, but I'm hearing this, trust. Now, I'm working with a couple of deals right now, and there was wills involved. There was no trust. Now, can you clarify to people the difference in a brief statement? I know you got to go, but the will. People get a will and think, "Oh, I got a will," and you really don't have anything at all. Give us a little understanding.
A will is a great starting point, right? You put something on paper to document what your wishes are, and hope that those wishes are held true, right?
Did you say hope?
And at least with the will, when you go to probate, that will is the document that speaks for you. The will doesn't avoid probate, but that will, if properly prepared and properly executed, that would be presented to the probate court, and the probate court judge would be able to review that and at least do their best to execute your estate based on the information in that will. The big difference between that and a trust, a properly executed and properly funded trust will now allow for probate to be avoided altogether.
There you
go. So that's the ultimate goal, is to avoid the probate process.
Avoid the probate, which means court costs, attorney fees, realtor fees. There's a lot of fees associated with having just a will versus now, again, because I see it all the time and people are having to go to probate. There's steps. It could take up to a year. Josh, so when I'm there's a couple of people call me in the last couple of months, their loved ones expired. Now, when we talk about they have a will, now, one of the things is, while they're having to go to probate, this mortgage, because they're saying, well, we're going to pay the mortgage. And I'm thinking, well, how you pay an expired person's mortgage when you can't even talk to the bank on their behalf until the court gives you an executor right to even handle their affairs? So what do you say about somebody paying someone's that is expired mortgage? Because once they notify with a death certificate saying Mr. John Brown passed away, typically my understanding, what I've seen in my career, is that they've given them up to a year to get the case handled. Most of the time they have to sell it. And then the mortgage company understands that, because there's probate, because there's no living trust, they're going to have to go to probate. What do you say to the one making that payment on the behalf of the dead or the expired, better word?
Making that payment is often what I see people do when they don't want to communicate to the lender that the individual has passed away, right? And if the lender does not know that this individual has passed away and they're not receiving payments, then they can proceed with the foreclosure process. And now that home can be removed from the family altogether, because regardless of if you're alive or if you passed away, the lender is due their money. Now, once notice has been given properly to the lender, now they can engage in the probate process. And that's when that time that you're talking about can kick in, where if they know there's a probate process and they've got a realistic expectation of getting their money, then they'll allow the probate process to play out. However, if there is no probate process, because that's really what happens oftentimes, is people start making the payments, they move into the house, they start acting as if the home is theirs. And when the bank finds out about this, who's really the person liable for the debt? It's the person who's passed away. So the bank doesn't like being on the hook and waiting for something to happen, knowing that the person who is responsible for the debt is no longer available. And that's when they're going to either push the process and say, hey, we need to get to probate, or they still have the right to foreclose on that property as well, because that debt is still due and payable.
So it's just best immediately upon the person passing away to whichever family member, the wife, the oldest child, or one of the family members, to notify the bank of the person passing, to let them know that there will be a probate matter, so that no foreclosure, as long as the bank knows, is what I've seen over my years in my career. As long as the bank knows that, the person passed away and we're working to get the matter resolved and get you your loan back. Many people want to buy the home, but this still has to go through the court process. But I just tell people, look, just once you get the death certificate, you'll find out who the mortgage company is, because when that payment doesn't come, they're going to send a letter. And when that letter comes, it tells you exactly who the mortgage service provider is. Notify them so that they can go ahead and make note that this person is expired and the family is working on a probate matter. So just kind of want to do away because people are putting money together to pay the mortgage. And I said, basically, you need to just let the bank know and start the process. And there's several attorneys like yourself who you can speak to. But I know, you don't do probate, right, Josh? You don't do probate.
I don't do probate, and I don't want to step on any probate attorney's toes.
Yeah.
But you certainly want to address the situation. I think what a lot of times people and families do is they just bury their head in the sand and think it's going to go away.
Right.
And that's not going to happen, and that's not responsible. I would certainly say you could reach out to someone like myself who happens to not only be an estate planning attorney, but also own a mortgage brokerage. So I'd be able to assist one in trying to figure out an alternative to the existing mortgage. If we can get that mortgage into someone else's name in the family, we can assist with that process. Now, it's a whole lot easier if there is an estate plan that's done and there's a trust that's done, because now that asset can be transferred without being stuck and waiting for the probate court to make a decision regarding what's going to occur with that property. But whatever the case may be, don't sit and do nothing. Address it, figure out, find some help, reach out to an individual like myself who can walk you through some of those steps to ensure that that property is going to remain a family.
That's good stuff, man. I tell you. So now we were talking, and I love your knowledge on the estate planning because I know that's your passion. But now let's talk about some lending because I only have a few moments of your time. Now, I'm meeting people out there who are saying, I'm Mr. Deville, Greg, I'm not sure, man, if it's a good time to buy. Interest rates are high, and I always have to rebuttal and say, so is rent. At least with a fixed rate, you know every month what it's going to be, right? What are you looking at as interest rates as of today with a person? Well, let me put it this way. If a person's FICO score is better, do they get a better rate? Or do you get a risky rate if you got risky credit? Help someone understand that.
Way to look at it is if you have a history of paying your bills on time, you're less of a risk.
Okay.
You miss payments occasionally, or you have, different things that are shown on your credit report to lead a lender to believe that you may not make your payment on time, even if we send you $400,000 to buy this home, then you're more at risk. And the more risk you are, the more expensive it's going to be for you to borrow the money. And that's where working with the lender as soon as possible and as early in the process as possible, who can walk you through some of the things that you would be able to do to get a better interest rate, right? And to show that you are less of a risk. And some of that may require some credit cleanup or what have you, but there is risk tied. There is risk tied to any loan, but a mortgage company is going to assess that risk when determining what type of interest rate they're going to apply to your situation.
So we're finding right now that families are, rents are going up every quarter, seems to be. Landlords are only doing 6-month leases at a time so that they can improve the rent amount going up on what their, rents are. People are contacting to get pre-approved. Now, when they get ready to file taxes, what is recommended? Should people be getting every deduction? I mean, helping buy a home right now, what's more favorable when you're doing a loan application, you're showing your W-2s, because we're coming up on tax season right now?
Great question. It depends on how your income is earned.
Okay.
For those of us who are self-employed, your tax return is critical. Right. If you're going to purchase a home, I'd recommend having conversations with a lender before the end of the year so that certain things can be organized and planned out and planned for, so that as you file those taxes, you have a better idea of what your qualification is going to look like as it pertains to the different things on your income that you may otherwise consider writing off and try to get and lower your tax liability. But in so doing, that lower tax liability may also impact your ability to qualify. Now, for an individual who is not self-employed and earns income through W-2 employment income, your tax return is not necessary in most cases for qualification purposes. We would be able to qualify you just using your W-2 income. Now,
Okay.
there's going to be folks who are wage earners who receive W-2 income who may own other properties, right? So now if you own other properties and those properties you're receiving rental income on, now those tax returns will likely need to be seen because we need to verify what that rental income is, what you've been claiming on those properties to ensure the rental income can be properly applied to your application.
The next thing I want to ask about is those who they want to do a home equity line of credit. What are the interest rates looking like at this time for those who say they want? Because I'm always talking about if you have a home, let's use the equity and let's let it allow it to create residual income. But that's oftentimes using a home equity line of the HELOC. What are the rates that you've been noticing? I know you do HELOCs. What have you been seeing lately for someone who's interested in possibly pulling money out to perhaps home improvements or put it, of course, not a car, but something that will create, as I mentioned, a residual income?
Yeah, right now, if you're a well-qualified borrower, solid credit, you're going to be looking at around say 7 to 8% range for that home equity line of credit. For someone who is a little bit higher risk, would say, then right now those rates are closer to about 9 and 10%. Now, there's one of the things that we do as a mortgage broker is we're allowed to go and shop. So we're not tied to any one rate that's out there. The rates I'm giving you is kind of a middle of the road range, but we can certainly find, depending on the situation, scenarios where we can qualify you and get you a rate that's a little lower than that. And sometimes if you don't qualify, even if the rate's higher, what the key thing that we're able to provide to you is qualification, right? We can still find a way to get you into the program, in this case, a home equity line of credit, in order to pay off debt, if there's some home improvement that needs to be done, whatever the things that need to be done financially that may require a higher rate immediately, we can help you obtain that with the ultimate goal of understanding the long-term big picture, which may include some type of refinance in the future to bring that rate down, especially with a home equity line of credit that's using to pay off maybe some of those higher interest debts. Now, by us paying those things off, it's going to improve your credit score, right? Because now those higher debts, those credit card debts, those payments are now, or those amounts have now been lowered, if not altogether paid off. That has an impact on your credit score, which if we bring those credit scores up, now a few months down the road, we can put you in a position to not only satisfy your immediate need of getting the funds in your pocket, but also help with your long-term need, and also by putting you in a lower interest rate.
What about those families who are above, I believe, age 62, and they want to do a reverse mortgage? Now, there's some families out there whose parents have equity in their home. Reverse mortgage, I've seen in many cases where they can live off their equity. Are you working with reverse mortgage? Is it 62 or 65? Which age is best for the reverse mortgage?
Yes, we do reverse mortgages. I believe right now it's 62. I'd have to double check that, to be honest with you. But the idea behind the reverse mortgage is, rather than you making your mortgage payment to the lender every month, or to the bank every month, the bank will rely on your equity and take a little bit out of your equity each month to cover the payment that needs to be made, which for someone who is of the age and maybe in retirement and don't have income, they may not have the income necessary to maintain their living expenses. That's another unique way to allow them to leverage the equity in their home. And now they can live in that home without exactly having to make a mortgage payment directly out of their usable funds. Now, it is important to remember that that equity is being depleted each month. So the payment is going to be made. And the lender or the bank, they will receive their money. It's just the method through which they receive the money is a little different. And what happens there, depending on how long you live, that will dictate and determine exactly how much of your equity is depleted during your lifetime while utilizing that reverse mortgage. So if you have this home and the plan was to have this home be a gift or be something that you give to your, say, children upon your passing, just know that that gift is going to be a little less valuable with that reverse mortgage, because that equity is being used each month as you continue to live there without making the mortgage payment. But the flip side is, let's say you were ultimately going to be giving that home to your children, and your
Okay.
children currently aren't in the financial position to assist you with your bills, to help cover your mortgage, and they would otherwise want to help you anyways. Now it's almost a win-win, because you don't have to now come up with those funds to cover that mortgage each month. And at the
Right.
same time, your children aren't burdened with trying to figure out how to pay their own expenses, while at the same time trying to assist you with your expenses while you're alive.
So that's really great. So someone's 62, you own a home, and you have an opportunity to use the equity in the home. Now, in the past, when I've sold several homes, what happens is they owe $350,000. The bank gave them 210. They, once they passed away, we sold the house for 385. The bank got their 210 back, and anything above that went to the heirs. Now, we want to talk about that, as well as putting that on a living trust, right? Because we don't just leave a will. That would be something great to do to the living trust, right? Absolutely.
Correct.
So
If
that,
the asset has been properly transferred into the trust,
yeah,
then the trust would be the owner of that property.
right.
Right. So when the individual were to pass away, by use of the trust, what that really does for the transaction that you're referring to is it now allows for the sale of that home to take place much faster
Right.
without having to go through the probate process.
And less cost associated with the sale, because you have courts, as we talked about, attorneys, and so many other fees that are associated.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
All of
everyone,
the costs, all of the costs associated with the probate process would be avoided, because the home is in a trust, and now the new, what we call the subsequent trustee, right? So the person who steps into the shoes of the current trustee, once the current trustee passes away, they immediately have the ability to sell that home, so long as they have the trust documents verifying that they are
right.
now the trustee. And they would at that point be able to sell the home just as a normal sale that you deal with all day long,
Right.
without having to deal with the probate courts intervening.
Or the other option would be to purchase that home for whatever's owed on that mortgage. So let's say she owed 210, and you can purchase that home for 210. The bank just wants, the bank just wants the money
Right.
that they advance.
That's
Yeah.
what they want. Exactly. So
Right.
so it gives you a lot more flexibility,
Yeah.
and there's still some strategy that goes along with all of this, right? You have to kind of figure out what makes the most sense, what your current financial position is. But those are all things that now you can discuss within the privacy of your own family, rather than having to deal with it publicly in the probate process.
So if someone wants to be in touch with you about more information, Josh, give them your contact information so that they can reach out to you about the living trust. Because a lot of families, they're doing well, but their parents are living on what we like to say, or what they like to call fixed income, right? But they have equity, and they're just trying to live to pay their home off, and not knowing the reverse mortgage can take a lot of stress off of you. Give them a contact information so that they can inquire more about. That might be something really helpful to seniors.
Yeah. The best way to reach me, you can reach me first, my website, www.ylmfinancial.com. You can reach me on the office phone. That number is 725-215-1906. Or feel free to shoot me an email directly at Joshua, it's Joshua, at ylmfinancial.com. These are things that we love doing. We love trying to figure out solutions to some of these challenges. Oftentimes, these challenges are not hard to fix as long as they're addressed early in the process. And right now, while you're still living, if you can put together a trust and really take the time to plan, now's the time to do it. What I always tell my clients is, hey, somebody's going to have to deal with this plan. It's best to do it while you're still alive, rather than someone having to figure it out when you're gone.
That's good stuff, man. Look, I know your schedule. We have another meeting, but thank you for taking this last moment time to speak with us and to our listeners today about information that is so valuable and powerful to so many families. So don't forget, doing loans is what Josh does. He's also an estate planning attorney. Josh is very knowledgeable in the business. So if you got questions, pick his brain, please. His number's on the screen there. We appreciate you, Josh. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, man. Look, happy, blessed New Year for you and the family. And thanks again for coming on today and speaking with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. It was my pleasure. Thank you, and happy holidays to the Devilles as well.
Thank you much. Thank you much. All right, you heard from my good friend Joshua E. Gillicky Jr. We are absolutely having fun talking about business information with the wealth builder, Greg Deville. It is a great opportunity for many of you to take time to fire your landlord this year. 2025, Greg Deville, Team Deville, we got Project 25. In my Project 25, we have a plan. We have a plan, and we know what we're going to do with it, and that's going to fire your landlord. That's right, I said it. Fire your landlord. Stop paying his mortgage. Stop giving him money, and then we're going to fire NV Energy when we get solar on our homes, because I'm telling you, I put solar on my home. I haven't had a power bill in 2 years. Is the sun shining? Well, I'm producing energy, renewable energy. It's a great time. It's an opportunity. I want you guys to get involved with Deville Realty Group and Deville Solar Marketing. We are here to help in every way we can. I have attorneys on standby to talk to you. Lenders, I work with about 8 or 9 lenders, so we have plenty of lenders. Listen, if you have a 401k on your job, you can purchase a home using your 401k with little to no money down from your 401. FICO score can be a mere 580. That just means you've paid some of your bills. But don't let your 401k sit there with funding without penalty. Now, let me clarify here, because remember, when you borrow from your 401k, there is up to a 10% penalty to borrow without just basic borrowing. However, to borrow from your 401 to purchase a home, there is no penalty. So I hope you hear me well. There are no penalties to use your 401k with no penalty to use the 401k and a mere 580 FICO. So my time is getting away from it. I want to make sure that I'm able to help many of you get involved in the home ownership, firing that landlord for 2025. I'm Greg Deville with Deville Realty Group, broker owner, 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group, the name you need to know right here in the Valley, the largest black-owned real estate firm in the state of Nevada, and we are excited to continue to help so many families with our Project 2025. We are firing the landlord. We are moving forward. If you got a Land Rover and the landlord, you need to call me at 702-349-0162. I said, if you have a Land Rover and a landlord, I need to hear from you. For my Project 2025, we got a plan. And we know the directive that we're taking, and you're involved. We're putting you involved. I'm just decreeing it right now, putting it in the atmosphere. You're next in line to receive what the greatness that is coming for 2025. Don't worry about the administration. You just stay focused on your plan. You got a job. If you're an entrepreneur, we got lenders who can help you get loans. Listen, you can get a loan just simply with your proof of funds letter. You can get loans with just your bank statements. So this is an opportunity to get into home ownership in 2025. And as I mentioned to you, when you get into home ownership, you're literally firing your landlord. You're serving him notice, I'm out. I'm out. I've been paying you long enough. I remember back in the day, we were doing the math. When last I rented, the rent was like 5-bedroom you can get in Centennial Hills for $1,500. So $1,500 a month. I stayed there 3 years until we purchased, and guess what? We paid $54,000 to the landlord. Now, remember, he's continued to rent that home out. He bought that home in 2008 for $108,000. $1,500 a month for the 3 years I stayed there. I gave $54,000. Somebody rented me before me, right? They paid at least $54,000. So that's about $108,000 that he's already made when he paid $180,000. You know, the rental tenants have paid that property off for the doctor. I think he's a dentist or something like that. But however, the property has been paid off by renters. So how many properties are you going to pay off? Because when they sell the property, you got to go find another place. This year, Project 2025 is about having your own. Project 2025 is about having your own real estate. I have no money down programs. I have the 401k program. Look, there's no VA veterans. Appreciate your service. But if you're renting a veteran, then let me say this. You're selling yourself short because you should not be renting and you have the VA that will back your loan. Now, remember, it's predicated on how much you qualify up to based on your debt to income ratio. So before you go out and spend all these funds on Christmas, meaning what? Over time, you're building equity. Most family statistics show stay minimal 5 to 7 years. Then they use the sale of that house, the equity, to get their next home. Or you can rent that home out. Pull the equity, as Josh mentioned about the home equity line of credit. And guess what? You tack that on to the renter. You've been a renter, now you know the game. The game is get another house, let the renter pay that mortgage while you pay the one over here. That's more of a dream home, if you will. Or maybe that's still not your dream home, but you're getting closer. And how are you doing it? By the equity in a home. So that's what you're doing when the landlord is renting you a house, is he went and bought another home expecting you to pay off that rental. And then he goes out and buy a car, and the car note is about $700. So he goes up about $200 on the rent, which means now his car note is only $500. So you're helping him not only pay his mortgage, you're helping him pay his car off. So how long do we continue with the madness? Do we finally decide Project 2025 with Deville team? I'm 702-349-0162. Greg Deville. I'm telling you, want to do it. So bought my home back in 2016 and paid merely, I think, $292,300,000 with my down payment. I think my mortgage was my mortgage is $292. Today we're nearly $595 in value. And of course I've done upgrades. But over time, guess what? By paying the mortgage, we've gotten over $250,000 in equity. So what does that say to you? You're giving equity away when you do it for the landlord. Now let's do it for you. Project 2025 is have your own American dream. What's the American dream? Home ownership. One of your largest tickets. Now, maybe you have to start with just a condo, but that's okay too, because you live in an apartment anyway, right? So you start with a condo, 3 to 5 years, 3 Christmas trees, 3 Thanksgiving dinners. Guess what? You can sell, see where the equity is, or do the home equity line of credit. With that being said, now you can put the money down. Now, remember, the home equity line of credit, which in turn is called HELOC, it's only 80% of the current value. Now, 80% of the value, or if you sell, you can get 100%. Now, either way, I've helped families do either way. It doesn't matter. I've seen families get that 80%, put $60,000 on a $600,000 home, got the home they want with a balcony overlooking the pool in Henderson area, closer to their job. Many of you are working away from your job, but you can take the equity and sell that home, or again, rent it out. Now most realtors say sell it because they would make double, commission. But a real smart move in my book is to do the home equity line of credit, keep that house, and now you're building 2 equities, right? The tenant is paying. You've been a sucker for a while. Go find you a sucker to rent. 2025, we ain't gonna be a sucker no more. Enough with being suckers. What's that thing on the bank when you're at the bank on the counter right there? It's in a bowl. It's sitting on the counter. It's suckers. The bank gives you a sucker. Even the bank say have one. So how long do you go into 2025 being a sucker? I'm not here to insult you, but the reality is, I've been being a sucker way too long. helping somebody else get their home paid off. And then the audacity, watch this, to tell me they selling. And now the chances of a buyer is probably going to be home occupied. Very rarely do they sell to investors. Who's going to rent? And if he does, it's not going to be what you've been paying. So there's a lot of things you need to get ready for in 2025. While you're making off that checklist and EOS is building up new locations and everybody working out, getting a head start. How about if we get a head start on getting our credit on track? You know what? Text the word credit to 702-349-0162. Text the word credit to 702-349-0162. I'm going to set you up with my friend Mike. We call him the Magic Mike. Mike has been helping families, man. It's been like magic. Credit scores are getting better, showing you how to deal with things, facing the elephant in the room, getting that score on track for 2025. Tell the kids this year we ain't buying all that foolishness, stuff that we don't really need. It's broke by February. Needing batteries. Where is it in the closet? Well, why you don't play with it? Oh, it need batteries. Well, why didn't you tell? Matter of fact, this might be a great Christmas idea, and you could thank me later. Just buy a bunch of batteries for the toys you bought last year and crank up the toys. You bought stuff last year, and you know where they've been using it? The bike hasn't been used because it's on a flat, so buy the flat replacement kit, right? Buy batteries for the toys so they can crank up the stuff they already got. And we just pile more stuff. I know you're not liking me right now, but real talk, get some batteries and fire up that bake oven. I know my daughters had them little bake ovens they used to like to bake little stuff in. Then the batteries would die, so they don't play with it no more. So crank up some batteries. Say, bring me them toys I bought last year or year before. And what batteries do they need? And that bike, why you ain't been riding that bike? You need flat? Okay, I'm going to buy you some new tires. I'm going to get you some of those tires, the tubeless, where they don't need fixing. They just, tubeless tire. They don't need no patching anymore. That way they can ride those bikes. I know my little grandson, I bought him one of those little electric cars, and somehow we lost the charger. So this year we're gonna buy a new charger so that he can ride that little electric car. The cord, it's a cord that plugs in that charges the battery. And then there was another toy my other grandkid had where they lost the key that turned the little deal on. We're gonna order a new key. You gonna play with that again. I think by mid-January the cord was missing and the key was gone. So we get ready to crank that stuff up, bring it up out of the storage. I'm finna shine it with some Armor All, put it under you're gonna be, there's my. It's going to be how I'm going to charge it up the night before. When you think Santa coming, I'm going to be Santa. I'm going to come up in there, and that's right. You're going to be Santa this year. Bring out them old toys. Break out that stuff, man. I'm telling you. Because you know why? Mama, why you didn't? Because we buying a house this year. I told another client of mine, I said, tell the kids, get them ready now. Ain't going to be a lot of presents under the tree. It's going to be some empty boxes in there. We're going to make presents. We're going to make the tree look good. But it's going to be just some boxes. Why? Because we're going to use these boxes to pack up your stuff because we getting ready to move in Project 2025. That's the vision. The vision is Project 2025, we get in the house. So when you see an empty box under the tree, that's so you can put your stuff in because we moving out of this apartment. We moving out of this man's house. Fire that landlord. Get that man his house back and say, you know what? I want my own house. It's like a rent-a-car. I'm tired of driving these rent-a-cars. I want my own car, right? This is just food for thought. I'm picking at you today. It's the eve of a week today before Christmas. So before you go out this weekend and payday and all of that, remember, use your 401k. You got money in there. Help you buy a home. Some just went up. Almost made me sneeze. I got so excited. But anyway, look, I'm about getting up out of here. I wanted to make sure that I came today to speak to many of you, let you know this is a great time. Don't listen to people talking about it's not a good time. Don't you listen to people. That's your problem now why you ain't got nothing. You listen to folks, and they sitting here ain't got nothing. No, it is a good time to buy. Why is it a good time? Well, interest rates are high. But guess what? So is rent. And it's getting higher. At least when you get a mortgage, watch this, you get a mortgage, it's fixed. It's locked. No more adjustment. And then we're going to get you solar on your home, renewable energy with no money down. And guess what that's going to be? That's going to be fixed. It's going to be solid. It's going to be right there. You're going to know every month, winter, summer, whatever, because you only got two seasons in Vegas, winter and summer. That's it. Yeah. And when it's summer, it's hot. When it's cold, it's nippy. So, but anyway, keep in mind, get your own Project 2025. It's that time. We want to do it. We want to make it happen. I'm here for you. I'm Greg Deville, the broker owner of Deville Realty Group. I'm excited. The team, shout out to Team Deville. You guys want to get with Deville Realty and Project 2025. Own your own home. Use your 401k. Veterans, use your VA. And if you don't have that certificate, we can get that certificate reinstated. Josh is great with that as well. I have about 8 or 9 lenders. Everybody does well with this business, and they know what they're doing, very knowledgeable. And if you don't have a living trust, maybe you have a will, but a will is going to entail other money to be spent. But if you go with the living trust, your orders can be directed. The attorney would read the trust, and that's it. There's no cost versus a will. You got attorney fees, court fees. The judge got a little something on that, I think, probably. And then you got the realtor fees. So that's just a lot of fees unnecessarily. When you have a trust, the attorney reads it. Well, Johnny, you got this. Willie, you got that. And Clarice, you didn't get nothing. So, but anyway, it's revocable or irrevocable. But get a trust. Get a trust. I'm being, facetious right now, but get a trust. And call Josh. Call me. I'll get you in Josh's number. But again, if you want to get your credit on track, text the word credit to 702-349-0162. Or you can go to my page, www.gregdeville.com. You can go to Facebook, Greg Deville. You can go to YouTube, Greg Deville. So wherever you go, you can Google. Google knows who I am. Google Greg Deville. All right? Have a great week, everybody. I look forward to talking to you next week. Same time, same place, right here at Hot 702.5FM.com. And this is what we do. We appreciate you all. Have a good week. Be safe. Save your money. Buy some batteries. And make the toys work again. Talk to you soon. Until I talk to you next time, may God's best be yours.
Yeah. Jones. Hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.